Hey guys, Soul Closet here, back making another video, and this time it's about CSGO. And as you might have been able to tell from my last little commentary video, I do play that game. And I'm not super into it, I'm not high ranked or anything, but I play it enough and I read the CSGO subreddit, r/GlobalOffensive, enough to know that a lot of people who play this game hit a point where they stop getting better. They stop ranking up, they feel stuck where they are, and they don't know why they can't get better. And this boils down to an inherent problem with the way that people approach competitive gaming, and most competitive skills, but especially competitive gaming, in my experience. And that problem is that a lot of people who play a game competitively will start out really bad, because everybody who plays a game starts out pretty bad at it, at least their first time. And so people who grow to play competitive CSGO, either in matchmaking in the game or in outside leagues like FACEIT and ESEA or CEVO, they tend to start out the game really bad and immediately boost up to get really better, like a lot better, in a short amount of time, because it's easy to get better when you start out really bad, learning the basics of the game, knowing callouts, finding good teams. You'll start winning a lot of games and ranking up really fast and feeling really good about the way that you play, and you'll think that you just keep increasing in skill. Well, that's not really how skill works. Skill in a competitive game isn't an exponential function. It's not like over time you get infinitely better and someday you're the best in the world. That's not how it works. Not everybody has it in them to be the best in the world simply because of the way that their minds work. And that's not making fun of anybody, and it's not saying that world-class competitive players are gods. It's just saying that not everybody can be at that level. And another thing is that because skill is not an exponential function, it's not a function, but you know what I mean, the growth that skill experiences fits more closely into a bell curve, and this is why the new ranking system based on the ELO or ELO points makes sense. And I'm not going to go into that. There's a War Owl video that I'll link in the description that goes into what that is pretty well, as well as some reading on r/GlobalOffensive can help you out there. But basically, it puts everybody into a new bell curve of skill, where you are fit more closely based on how you play than just some sort of points you got over time. And in games like OSU, this created itself by not having skill ranks, per se, and just having a number rank you are in the world. The community created its own bell curve by finding the point at which people are willing to go before they stop, and having certain people go past that point to become the best in the world. In a game like CSGO, where your performance is also based on the performance of those you're going against, because it's a direct opposition game every time, your performance fits more closely into a traditional mathematical bell curve. Most people are going to be right about middle of the road, and they're not going to get much better. That's why a lot of players are being D-ranked from Supreme Master First Class or Legendary Eagle into the Gold Nova ranks. Gold Nova 2, Gold Nova 3, those kind of ranks. And it's not meaning those players are playing worse. And it's not that everybody else is getting better, even. It's just that, realistically, a CSGO player who plays competitively will probably fit somewhere in the middle once they get a hang of the game. I encountered someone on the CSGO subreddit today, username Thorium0. I won't link that, but that's just who it was. He said I could say his name, so it's okay. And Thorium0 made a post that's since been deleted, otherwise I would show it to you, that said that he was asking for help on how to get better at the game. And I gave him some advice that I had applied to OSU back when I used to play it more consistently and more competitively. And I think it also applies to CSGO as far as your mental state while playing the game. Your mindset. One thing to very much keep in mind when you're playing competitive CSGO and trying to get better is that more play does not equal more skill. Just because you've played 200 competitive matches which isn't that much in the grand scheme of things compared to a lot of players, but whatever. Just because you've played 200 competitive matches doesn't mean you're going to be 200 times better than when you played your first one. And that's an exaggeration, but it doesn't mean that playing more will make you better, especially if you're grinding out the game. If you're not enjoying the game, wanting to play it, and you're only playing a match just so you can get a higher skill rank and get better at the game, you're not going to get better at the game, and you're not going to get a higher skill rank unless your team carries you. You have to be good at the game to get a higher skill rank. You have to get better. That's an average idea. That's a feasible thing to think about. If you want to get a higher skill rank, then you have to get better at the game. But you're not going to get better at the game by forcing yourself to play it when you don't necessarily want to, just because, oh, I have to get better. Experience helps, and that's why you're never going to see someone in Global Elite without hacking who's only played 10 hours of the game. That's just not how it works. However, most people aren't going to get out of the Gold Nova ranks just by playing 100 more matches. You might get out of those ranks if you have good teams, but you're not going to get that much better as a player. You have to play when you want in short bursts after you think you've hit that plateau, that flattening out point of your skill curve, and that's how you'll really develop the mindset and skills required to get better at competitive Counter-Strike. I'm not a ranked player, but I've seen this pattern enough times in enough people on Reddit, for Osu and Counter-Strike, and for other games, that I know that it will apply to you if you are a ranked player. And I have played competitive, so I do know how it works. Another thing that I want to make very clear is that Counter-Strike doesn't define you. You are not your Steam profile. Yes, you are the owner of your Steam profile, and yes, you are the probably only player of CSGO on your own Steam profile. But you are not Legendary Eagle. You are whatever your name is. Let's say your name is Hank. You're Hank. You're not Master XXX Elite, the Legendary Eagle. You're Hank. If Hank deranks to be a Gold Nova 1, Hank is still Hank. You are not the game. The game is not you. Your skill in CSGO doesn't make you a worse person if it gets less consistent or lower in general. And because you fit into a bell curve, it's likely that if you apply this strategy of playing when you want to and not because you have to, it'll take a while to transition, but once you do it, you might start getting better, or you'll at least get back up to where you were before you started grinding out the game. That does not mean that your skill rank will get higher, though, necessarily. It might. But with the recent changes that Valve has made to the skill ranking system in Counter-Strike, it's unlikely that you will get back to whatever rank you were before the update. You may have been Supreme Master First Class, but if you're a Gold Nova 2, you might only become a Gold Nova 4, even if you get way better at the game in terms of actual skill. That's simply just how the ranking system works, and you gotta know that. You have to know that you're not worse because your rank is lower. It's just that they changed how many people are in each skill group, so that's not on you. But yeah, so to summarize, try playing less if you feel like you're grinding out the game. If you ever go into a competitive and you're about to click accept, but you really don't, you just feel like you're doing it because you want to rank up, don't play. Press the X, quit out, play something else, watch some YouTube, whatever. Get out. Or play deathmatch. Deathmatch is fine. Go play deathmatch, be fun, that's fun. Deathmatch is fun for everyone. But don't play competitive, or even casual, if your only reason for playing is because you want to rank up. You'll never do as well that way, and I promise you that if you play when you feel ready, and only in short bursts, 2 or 3 matches a day, at the most, then you will get better at the game. So, that's all I wanted to talk about today, guys. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you guys next time. Soul Closet out. Bye.